Howdy and hello everyone, and welcome to an uncategorized video. Today's video is a bit of a follow-up to my major video comparing Caltrain to Metrolink. In this video, I'll be specifically looking at Metrolink's rolling stock and what exactly they could get next. So, let's begin with some background. In 2006, Metrolink placed an order for 161 bi-level coaches and cab coaches produced by Hyundai Rotem. These coaches were significantly more built up than the Bombardier bi-level coaches the system opened with in 1992. This lack of protection in their designs was what caused the 2005 Glendale crash to be a derailment and not just a minor vehicle strike, and for the 2008 Chatsworth collision to be as bad as it was. Minor side note, I don't think enough people give Metrolink the credit it deserves for its commitment to passenger safety in a crash. A year after the Glendale collision, they ordered better cars, and in direct response to the Chatsworth collision, they pushed PTC's development into the spotlight and were the first to get it fully implemented. Back on topic, while Hyundai Rotem worked on this massive order, Metrolink received a handful of MPI MP36PH-3Cs in 2008 to help expand their fleet of F59PH and F59PHI locomotives. In 2012, Metrolink began receiving their Hyundai Rotem bi-levels and quickly took all of the bi-level cab cars from Bombardier out of service, leaving only their normal coaches, which were never to be put directly behind a locomotive in revenue service, upon the full arrival of the Rotem coaches. After this, it was all smooth sailing for a few years until the 2015 Oxnard crash, where a Hyundai Rotem car derailed upon hitting a vehicle. After this, Metrolink immediately went, what the hell man, the whole reason why we got these cars was to stop this from happening, and so borrowed some GEVOs from BNSF to cover all Rotems in service until it was certain that Metrolink would have no further derailments from vehicle strikes, and thankfully, this is now the case, as since that 2015 incident, Metrolink has had 0 in-service derailments, with all coaches staying on the tracks in the event of a vehicle strike. In 2017, Metrolink received a fleet of 40 EMD F125 locomotives to phase out their F59PHIs, non-rebuilt F59PHs, and whatever MP36s decided to break. These 40 F125s saw not the smoothest entering of service, but they now operate rather okay and are by far the most common locomotive on the Metrolink system. And so now that brings us to the modern day. According to Metrolink's most recent fact sheet, they have 60 operating locomotives, 57 operating cab cars, and 201 operating coaches. That cab car number would be higher had 3 Rotems not bit the dust due to the 2015 incident and additional incidents in the following years. Also, a minor note regarding the cab cars, on the fact sheet, Metrolink states 57 are currently operating. On Wikipedia, it states 53 are currently operating. If someone could please post in the comments which one of those numbers is actually correct, that would be great. I'm pretty sure the fact sheet is correct though. Anyways, back on topic, if you were paying close attention, you may have noticed one thing. Most of these new equipment orders for Metrolink were replacements for rolling stock that was either old or deemed unsafe. The Rotems were a large increase over the number of Bombardiers, mainly for cab cars, but the amount added is still lower than you would think because every Bombardier cab car was replaced. So that leads us to Metrolink's current dilemma. They want to expand weekday service, but physically can't because they don't have enough rolling stock to do so. Now, before we go on here, I'd just like to mention something regarding Metrolink's future plans that kind of makes this video a bit different, but doesn't exactly ruin the point of it all. Metrolink does plan to expand to 30-minute frequencies before the 2028 Olympics, and the way I assume they're going to do that is by lowering coach counts on trains, since as it stands currently, they don't have any other plans to expand their coach count past just refurbishing old Bombardiers. Hopefully, this doesn't lead to any bad capacity issues, and I have also heard that they're going to try and reactivate a few of the old F59PHIs. Please don't take that for fact, though. I don't want to get foamers excited. And, yeah, just in general, this video is kind of less important now because of the whole thing of them probably just going to lower coach counts anyways, but they do still need new rolling stock, so yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Basically, they're going to expand service frequencies anyways and just hope that more people take different trains instead of cramming everyone on one train. Their current schedule is the farthest they can reasonably go without lowering coach counts. So let's look into Metrolink's recent rumored or mentioned plans for new rolling stock, and at the end, I'll give a few of my own ideas. If you were in the SoCal rail fanning scene in mid to late 2023, you probably would have heard of an interesting development regarding NZTD, the operators of Coaster, and their brand new order of 4 additional Siemens chargers. NZTD at the time was hurting financially and needed a way to get some extra revenue. Their plan was to sell 5 Bombardier coaches from their service start in 1995 and 2 of their brand new Siemens chargers. Those 2 in particular were initially rumored to be 5008 and 5009, but was then shifted to 5007 and 5009 because 5007 reportedly arrived in a rather crummy condition, and 5009 was one big mess for its entire first 2 years of service. Apparently, NZTD was keeping the F59 PHIs that would be retired thanks to 5006 and 5008 because selling them would gain them nothing in comparison to selling the 2 brand new locomotives. It also takes an eternity to get a Siemens charger now because of how in demand they are. NZTD had the Utah Transit Authority, who runs Frontrunner in Salt Lake City, in mind for the coaches, and the SCRRA, who operates Metrolink, and Caltrans/Lausanne, or the SJJPA, or the CCJPA, basically just the entire confusing Amtrak California web. NZTD successfully sold their 5 coaches to UTA, but 5007 and 5009 never got sold. To my knowledge, it was never officially stated why, but for Amtrak California, I'd imagine it's because they hate Siemens with a passion now, and for the SCRA, it leads us to a fun little wrench to make this rolling stock issue more complicated. Many of you would probably know the dumb situation that has been happening with Metro over the past 20 or so years with their insistence on never using anything but equipment that uses EMD parts because they don't want to retrain maintenance employees. Well, according to some rumors and some pretty easy assumptions, this appears, again, not confirmed directly by anyone official, to be the same story with Metrolink, just at a more relaxed scale. Metrolink is well known for being the weird one who didn't get a charger in a state where literally every major fully diesel heavy rail service had one. All of their equipment utilizes EMD prime movers and parts, so presumably, to make things smooth and easy, Metrolink got a custom-built engine from EMD instead of getting a charger which uses Siemens prime movers, Siemens Tech, and a Cummins engine. This is presumably why the SCRRA turned down NCT's offer. They don't want to deal with having 2 locomotives that are fundamentally different from their other 60, and when you put it like that, I see their reasoning. If Metrolink got chargers, it would have had to have been in place of the F125s or be a replacement to the F125s, which almost certainly won't happen unless the charger ends up being like the F40 and just refuses to die. If Metrolink wants to get new locomotives, it would have to utilize EMD parts and be Tier 4 because California. This means no chargers, no MP54s, no locomotives that aren't Tier 4, and the F125, as a side note, is no longer sold by EMD, so they can't go to that. So Metrolink would have to go to them, or maybe MPI, and ask for another Tier 4 locomotive, which once we get into this next segment, you'll probably see why it won't happen. This is what I believe Metrolink will be getting next when it comes to rolling stock. This is because Metrolink already operates DMUs and a ZEMU on their sad little child Arrow, but also released a study in 2023 to evaluate how this would work. Based on the study, the ZEMU/zero emissions locomotives we could see will be similar in execution, and if they go with the MUs, will be similar service-wise to the ones recently revealed to be coming to Pacific Surfliner at the start of the 2030s. Metrolink is being smart about this and is closely monitoring the ZEMU currently in service on Arrow to develop a version that could operate system-wide, which will most likely be similar to the stuff coming to Surfliner. Metrolinks will certainly come after Surfliners and will probably be more efficient and more reliable, and based on the study, will begin service on the Ventura County and Antelope Valley lines. For MUs, Metrolink will almost certainly go to Stadler, as they are kind of the US MU king right now, and have a monopoly over the MU market in the US because Siemens didn't even try, because they have their own monopoly, and Alstom appears to be failing at doing literally anything right now. It sounds weird, but we in some roundabout way may actually see Metrolink choose a Siemens charger, just a zero emissions battery variant, which would eliminate the need for a Cummins engine. I find this kinda dumb, but considering how Metro is doing something similar with the Stadler ZEMUs, I wouldn't be surprised. We could also see them rebuild their F59 PHIs and PHs like what Ace and Caltrans are currently getting ready to do with their F40s and PHIs respectively, but this option in particular is a lot less desirable as it doesn't majorly expand their fleet, and that's what we're trying to accomplish here when all's said and done. And there's always an option of a wild card, such as someone like GE or EMD coming out of nowhere and saying, yeah, sure, we'll make that. I really doubt this is happening, but remember, a board of genuine people approved the Gold Runner rename, so anything is possible. If Metrolink decides to go with locomotives, they'll also need coaches and cab cars. There are two manufacturers I could see taking this up: Alstom or Hyundai Rotem. I say Hyundai Rotem as I'm unaware if Rotem ever actually took the coaches they made for Metrolink off their listing, meaning theoretically, Metrolink could get more, and Rotem could also just make a brand new coach, which is entirely possible. Alstom is there because they're making those coaches for Metra and own Bombardier, who now have their own CEM coach, which is at the same level as the Rotems. If Metrolink were to get Bombardier CEMs, that would be very amusing, as if Metrolink had been a handful of years later with their coach order, they could have actually just straight up been the second operator of the Bombardier CEMs, which were first bought by who else but Go. Unlike the situation with the locomotives, the coach situation is a lot less complicated. It just requires them to actually get on with it and put on a request, which appears to be a matter of when they'll get their locomotive order, aka it'll be a bit. Now that's all good, but before I end off this video, I have my own thoughts as to where Metrolink should go next for their rolling stock. First off though, I must add that whatever happens, Metrolink needs to get some kind of new rolling stock, as they have quite literally reached their limit on how far they can go, and considering how it appears US rail ridership is only growing, Metrolink needs more capacity and more trains, so Metrolink really needs to put some more urgency on the procurement of a rolling stock expansion, instead of just replacing equipment over and over again. First off, I believe Metrolink should go with the conventional locomotive coach cab car setup. This is because multiple units are only really good if you're running a small branch / hybrid / light rail setup, where you'll be getting more bang for your buck in terms of your number of MUs, or if you're running a fully electrified service like with Caltrain. Now, since Metrolink can't electrify their full system because they don't own their full system, getting multiple units would lead to a few issues. The main one is regarding their yards needing reconfiguring, as multiple units can't be easily broken up like locomotive hull consists. Plus, given the size of the Metrolink system, the amount of multiple units needed, when combined with the existing coaches and cab cars, could easily lead to capacity issues. So what locomotives? Well, they should be new locomotives, and there should be a lot of them, so that service is expanded, not just refreshed. And as much as it hurts me to say, they should be by a manufacturer who can do zero emissions, because given California's insistentness on making rail services, which is already the cleanest form of mass transit, make their fleet zero emissions rather than, I don't know, make them efficient, comfortable, cheap, and usable first, while giving another handful of dollars to highway widening projects that do absolutely nothing, Metrolink will most likely have to get zero emissions locomotives, which will balloon the hell out of costs, but that's less of their own fault and more of the fault of the state they're from. Given all this, I really only see one good manufacturer. I know it's cliche for me to say given my channel icon, but given the outlines I laid out and given the most popular manufacturers right now, I only see Siemens making a fully battery-powered charger for Metrolink. Do I predict this rollout will go smoothly? Absolutely not! It's an untested technology mixed with a locomotive that is a literal king of teething problems. Now, we could see Metrolink get dual-mode chargers, but then that factors the Cummins engine back in, which is the whole reason why they didn't buy it in the first place. And as a wild card, there is a chance they could go to EMD and ask them to make what is essentially a zero emissions F125, or just an updated F125. For coaches, I think they should definitely see if Hyundai Rotem can make them more stuff, but if not, I think it would be about time to head on back to Bombardier, because their CM coaches function basically the same as the Rotems and have been proven to be good, minus recent orders being a bit screwy during testing and initial service. Now, once again, don't rule out Alstom or some other third party making a coach different from the Bombardiers or Rotems, but there isn't much. Siemens appears to be exclusively in the quarter coach market and haven't made a commuter coach, and it appears they're just leaving that to Bombardier, who, as I mentioned before, is puppeted and owned by Alstom. If this is done, I believe we will see Metrolink service expand beyond its current level, allowing service to be more frequent and more accessible to those in the SoCal region. But with all that being said, that's my opinion of Metrolink's future rolling stock. Obviously, we'll have to wait until Metrolink finally does something regarding the new rolling stock themselves to know what's happening, but for now, this is the best I've got. So, without much more to say, I hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, I was 5008 Creations, you were the viewer, and I'll see you in the future. Goodbye.